Alright guys, welcome back to the third lesson of the Black Helm Studios beginning Java tutorials. Now last lesson we made a small program that just writ hello world to the screen. Wasn't very useful, but it just showed you sort of a basic function of what we can do with a program, and it's just following tradition. Every programming language, whenever you start, you always create a program called hello world. Now in this lesson, we're going to introduce you to the concept of variables and the Java primitive types. Okay, so from the My Program class, we'll get rid of that. We don't need hello world. Alright, so now I'm gonna introduce you to the concept of variables. Now, if you remember from maths class, when you're doing algebra, hated algebra, you had things like x and y and z and things like that, and they were variables. And whenever you sort of said that x equaled, I don't know, 8, and then you had an equation and that said x squared, you'd immediately know that it would be 8 squared because you had assigned the value 8 to the variable x. Same thing with Java. But first we need to say what type is x going to hold? Like, is it going to be an integer, a double, a boolean, a character, or a string? So the ones I'm going to introduce to you today are integer, double, character, and boolean, and string. We sort of saw string last episode with the Hello World program. Okay, but so first you just got to say what type do I want. I'm going to do integer x. You put a semicolon. Now, after any Java statement, you have to finish with the semicolon. That just says we've finished that statement. Go on to the next one. Okay, so now I've said that x is going to hold a value that is going to be of type integer. Now, an integer is just any whole number. There are limits to what sort of number, how high you can go and how low you can go. I'm not going to worry about that today because it is quite high, and for these sort of basic for these sort of basic programs, you're not going to need to use them. Okay, so now we need to assign the variable x with some sort of value. So I'm going to go x equals 8 semicolon. Now, that equal sign is not actually the equals sign. In Java and in most programming languages, it is called the assignment statement. So what it does is it assigns that value of 8 to the variable x. So just imagine a box that is labeled x, and inside is the number 8. That's what that does. We're just saying put number 8 into the box labeled x, pretty much. That's simplified, of course, but it just sort of gives you an understanding of what happens. Now, an int can be anything. It can be 80, it can be 789, it can be 25, but it can't be 25.5. If I went and tried to compile that, it would give me an error. It would say possible loss of precision. Found, as in it found that it was a double, and it was an int down here. And it goes possible loss of precision, double, int. And it tells you what line. Actually, what we'll do, sidetrack, but I'm just going to go and put show all line numbers. Okay. That just helps us to find where the error is. See line 4, and we can see line 4. That's where the error is. It required an integer, and we put a double. So got that, compile that, and that's that. So, oh, no, that would give me another error. So now we've got other types, which are double. So we go double price, and then we go price equals, I don't know, what should price equal? $2.99. So now that is a double. As you can see, a double can be any sort of decimal number. It can be a negative if you wanted to. Obviously, you wouldn't normally have a negative price, but that's the case. Or integer can be negative as well. So we'll leave that actually, and put our semicolon. So that's sort of variables. Now a variable is just something where we store a value. It can be of any type: integer, double, boolean, string, and so forth. So now I'm going to introduce you to booleans. Now probably most of you haven't heard the term boolean before, but if you have, that's good. What a boolean is it's a primitive type that can hold the values of true or false, and that's it. So what we'll do is boolean. Normally when you're naming a boolean, you want it to make sense. So you sort of something like boolean has money is true, because that makes sense, you know. Does he have money? Yes, he does. So we go has money, and then has money equals true, or is assigned the value of true, or we can do false, and that's it. It's just something that holds the value true or false. Now another thing we've got is strings, which we sort of saw last episode, and we'll just go ahead and do those. So string Mitchell, or no, we'll do string name, and name equals Mitchell. That's me, for those of you who don't know. Now, sorry, my mistake, you have to put that like that, because a string has to be enclosed in those things there. Alright, so that's it for today. I just introduced you to different data types. We had integers, doubles, booleans, and strings. So, I mean, we just compile, make sure there's no errors. Great. And I sort of showed you how to put line numbers. So I think that's going to be all for today. Just let me think. Did I had anything else planned? No. I'll stop there. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe, guys. If I get 100 subscribers, I'm going to have a little competition. There's going to be some giveaways and some freebies, possibly some t-shirts, stuff like that. So you guys, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.